love this. Okay, so this was earlier this afternoon. Well, almost yesterday afternoon. It's 11:54, almost midnight. Oh yeah. All right, so so this was at 4:35. I went live on TikTok and well, I spent the day like prepping and doing all this work. I basically brought my work home, but in my own way. I tried to get some cherries prepped to put in the fridge so that way in 4 months I can propagate them into the pot and let it grow. And then if I get little baby trees, then hopefully next year I'll be able to plant some baby trees because I have my lights and I can maintain things and like I can do this. I can do this. I can make some cherry trees to replace the ones that we had to cut down. Boy. So before I continue with this, I'm going to go to the right side here and I'm going to copy this and I'm going to start a new file and paste that in there. And I'm going to listen to the right one. I'm just going to amplify it just so I can see this is this is bad audio, but this is what I do to listen to see what's there, so that way if I start see,
so that
because
way
this is
everything
the
that I'm recording here is logged for future Patreon releases. So
this is the
I'm still working with the same
room.
energies I've been working with throughout.
So here, so if I were to use this track, it would be here is where all the room tone starts. So I can delete all of this where I'm yammering on, delete that. Computer set to stand, and then I just sit on my little musician's guitar stool thing here. I'm able to stand up as I need to and stretch and move about here in the studio and listen and see if there's anything alarming I can deal with. Otherwise, I'm just gonna double up the left channel and do what I normally do. I'm trying to see how good this will do so I can start doing vocal tracks for my Patreons. Oh yeah, I can hear a lot of stuff. I can't use this. Good to know. Just wanted to see what happened. So let's go back here. And now we're back to the raw everything. But this time we're going to copy the left channel and paste that into the right channel. So now it should be doubled up left. So now we're going to save it as, and we're going to browse in here and make sure I'm in the right file. This is, oh my goodness, 7.5, Waning Crescent Scorpio, germinating cherries. And this is gonna be, so wait, germinating cherries, and this is gonna be dash, double left, double lefty, double left. No, I just gotta call it shotgun, shotgun, and then this is raw. Okay, the date, afternoon, and what am I doing? I'm trying to be better about labeling. You know, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Okay, so now it says germinating cherries, blah 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 blah. Yes. Okay. Now we're saving this. This is now just the raw file for germinating cherries earlier on July 5th. and double left shotgun. So now I'm going to zoom way the F in here, and I'm going to look for some silence, a good amount of it that's clean. That's a good amount of silence. So now if I hit Control Shift P, shoot, it doesn't want to do it. Control, oh wait, Shift P. Okay, and now if I go Control Shift P, oh boy, there we go. So let's try this, Shift P. Okay. Huh. Well, let's see what's going on here. Let's try this, Shift P. Okay. I guess that's what we're contending with. So that's what we're going to use, Control A, Control Shift P. Oh, we're already in there, so apply. So that'll just mute all the white noise, underline the shotgun microphone, pick up in the moments of silence so we can have clean audio to work with. So after it processes this, process. There we go. Now let's zoom out. Put 0 back at top. There we go. And now let's, okay. So now if we go to the beginning, we only need just a few seconds of dead air. And then if we go to the end, we just need a little bit of space there. That should be more than enough. So we're gonna hit Control Copy, and then we're just going to delete all this, and we're going to delete all this. And now I still have maintained the recording date in my metadata, and I'm still working with the raw audio. Oh, I zoomed out. I'll just keep doing it. Zoom in to 0 on top. There we go. And now we can go to effects. FFT filter. And we're going to kill the 60 hertz ground loop. Yes. Killing the 60 hertz ground loop. Oh, that was good. Okay. Now we do this again. And we hit Control R, that goes back into the last thing we just did. But we're going to change it to kill the mic rumble so that way we get rid of all those super lows. Alright, now we can start. Let's see. We are peaking at, let's zoom in here. So if that's -9, that's -12. But we're baselining about -15 in the middle section. And then down there, it's like -24 and lower. Oof. Okay. We want to make sure it's not too loud when we start playing with things. So we want to try and aim for -6. Okay. So that's what we're going to target for. And we're going to just bump her up by like, 1.8. There you go. And now we're going to go effects and go into the equalizer bands. We're going to do a little simple bass cut because this is the shotgun microphone, and shotgun is very low frequency heavy. And if you're in the car and turn that up, things will start rattling. So I'm just getting rid of that. And then I'm working in mono still with the shotgun microphone. It helps you hear what the equalizer bands are doing better. So now I'm going to go to the 30 equalizer band and do some fine tuning. Like you can already hear a big difference because I just did a mid cut. And the way things are going, I'm not sure if I need to start with the attack, the mud removal. There we go. So we're going to do the mud removal. And then from here, now I'll do the mid cut because piano exists in the mid section. And then when you start bringing more things up, it gets more, yeah. So we're just going to do that. And now that we've done all of that stuff, we can go into the special and go into the mastering suite. and then this is like a curve that I created, and it's, like played with a lot of the settings there until it sounds close to what it feels like here in the room. And then that adds like a slight reverb. And I'm gonna go into stereo imaging, go to stereo expander, and just expand it by 187%. And then I'm going to lean it a little bit to the left. There we go. And now, now we can do the. No, we'll do that at the end. Okay. I think we're good. So now we can hit Control N, and that opens up a new multi-track session. And then before I do anything, I'm going to prepare myself, because whenever I finish playing with the volume stuff, I saturate with 3 layers, copying the same thing over just to thicken up the audio, so that way it's not so meh, yeah. So now I can see, here's the this yellow line here, and we move this up and down. That's like in old school days when we were working in ribbon. You play the ribbon back, and you just follow along, and you have the volume up. Like, oh, it gets loud here, then it gets up here, then it goes there, and you're just kind of like there, just like twiddling. And when you play that through, you can capture in real time, synced up with the ribbon, as you do all this and you program it. And then you do that with each little part, and also you'll play back and re-record everything with everything, balancing everything out. So now I'm doing that here in the multi-track, watching this yellow bar, and considering that my little fader on the sound bar. So I'm going to zoom in here, and this stuff is really quiet, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to just give it like a +7 dB. And then we're going to ride that wave until over here it starts to get a little bit louder. So from like maybe this point to here, I'll start bringing it down a bit, but not too much, just a little bit. And then once we get over here, things are starting to get really loud. So if I just kind of imagine like an adverse curve along those notes that are being struck, and then from here I can bring this guy down. Now I'm going to listen while I do the rest and see. Hey, start from the top. Yeah, there you go. I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to go to where I left off, and I'm going to try and race this little red bar and see if I can process my fader bar by watching how everything is laid out here, and do what I have to make it a little bit more balanced, instead of using, I know most people would use a compressor, but this is piano, and we're trying to preserve like the loud and quiet, but also still maintain the balance of everything. We'll do that to 6. Let all that ride out. Let all that ride out. Let all that ride out. This is looking good. Let's zoom out. Over here it gets a little bit more quiet. So maybe from here we'll start gradually bringing it up, and then a little bit more. And then let all that ride. Let all that ride. Maybe here it doesn't have to be that much, but that we can do. Okay. And now we can take this, copy this, paste that here, and then paste that here. Go to the top and listen, and we're going to make sure we don't break 0. Cross fingers and listen, and dance, and stretch. we did not break zero. Oh my gosh, that was perfect. So now we can export this. And I was able to just jive and stretch and breathe and feel good while listening to it. And that's how I know it's good. If I get zoned out of it because of something, then I'm like, oh, something's not right. But that felt good and beautiful. So now we will browse. We are in July now. This is July 1st. Waxing deepest moon in Scorpio. Germinating cherries. Shut up. MDO1. Save. Okay. Now we did not save over the old file, we just saved a brand new file. So now we have it again as an MDO1, which stands for mix down one. Oh, look at that. Yes, it's looking good. So now from here, this is where I'll finally do like a compressor, but it's very, very subtle. So I like to open up my window like this and then drag this up to see like, like the average here. And here's where like, most people will try and like sandwich everything to be loud, loud. But I just want to take like these super loud, loud parts here and just kind of shave those guys off. And then on the bottom part of the waveform, I want to see where that lies. And it's probably going to be something like this just to shave off those super peaks. And that's like -3, -3, -4, -4, 5. So we're going to call the threshold -5.5 to give it a little buffer at 3.3 ratio to 1. That's like, not much. A lot of people do a 12 to 1 or a 15 to 1. Some people do 20 to 1, like, oh, it's too much. And then I do my attack at 1 millisecond, release at 500 milliseconds. And now we will apply that to the file. There we go. And now if I take each track individually, the left side and amplitude compression, and we're going to normalize it to -0.5, apply, and then do the same thing to the other side. And now if I go to the beginning, look over here. Okay, this is 6.1-ish, so we want to go to 5.5-ish. And then we're going to delete everything there, and that gives me about a 0.6-second buffer. Hold control while we do this thing. There we go. And then we go here to the end, and we figure out where we want the repeat one to happen. So we can take our rest, and then restart if we want to listen to it and just zen and meditate out. So let's do it here, and then we're going to go to the end part there and do a fader like this. And then we're going to do a little scrub-a-dub-dooby-doo at this point here. There's a nice long fade here, and then that's where the note starts. So if I zoom way the F in, right there, that's where that note in the felt starts to hit the string and vibrate it. So we go a little bit before and find that point of strike, which is around there. So let's come back a little bit, zoom in, and we're gonna find a good double flat. I think we're gonna go with this one way back here. This is a good little like double flat zone. So there we go. Zoom out, and then just be careful. Grab that. Zoom out, and then grab that one. Okay, and now I can get away with like 2.1. All right, let's redo that and see if we can get away with 2.7. Can we get away with 3? Let's try 3. Yeah, we can. Okay, and then from here, we're gonna go to, let's see, I think I saw another point. No, this is good. We'll go with that. So now, if we go to the end one more time and give it one more fade at the end to get to absolute zero at the end. There we go. Now we're going to check the repeat one, and we're going to see if we can get a name. Drink some water. So this was 7-5. I need to open this other one that I did. I need to look at my July 2025. this one. Open. July 2025 Patreon Daily Piano. That's what I made. This one say Control V, and then that is there. Oh wow. One more listen. Excuse me. This one's good. We can use this one. So we can save it. Blah 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 blah. This is 7/5 waxing gibbous in Scorpio. So give me a second here to copy that. Hit cancel, and I'm going to go into cancel. Go into the metadata. Go into the comments here. Hit paste. Waxing gibbous. And then now I can hit Control Shift. Blah, 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 Control Shift S. And now I can save it and make a new folder now for July. New folder 2025. Hey, 2025 underscore 07 July free rights. Open that, and then this is no longer an MDO1 shotgun. This is afternoon improv, germinating cherries, and your name was Sherionisa, afternoon improv, Sherionisa, afternoon improv, cherry save. Okay. Yada, yada, yada. And now we're here again, and I don't have a picture of the cherries that I germinated, but that's okay. If I save this again and turn it into an MP3 so that way it's ready to receive track art, can hit OK. Okay, wait, no, I need to put it in the appropriate folder. This is the July for Patreon. There we go, that's MP3s. And now we're saving it as an MP3. And once it's an MP3, go back to the beginning and now go to my latest pictures. Yeah, we'll go with that one. Save that, and now we can go into Patreon. And this is my library. Let's control minus. Hey, what's going on here? Control minus. There we go. Create post. And this is going to be today, 7/6. So this is going to be Cherry Onisa, Cherry Onisa. And this is going to be 7/6/2025. Daily piano. And this is going to be there, and that's going to be A432 for actual 432. My Patreons know what I mean. And now I'm going to find the audio and upload it to the player. And Cherry Onisa is over there. And then while you upload, I'm going to put down this was recorded July 5th. Hey. 5th at, okay, hey. We're going to hit play. So I did this one live on TikTok and showing people when I was germinating seeds on my phone. My phone just went live and hammered on for half an hour and played this piece for the cherries. this is going to go to selected tiers, fantastic flowers, and up, that's the MP3s. And we are going to go, isn't there a thing for schedule? Set a release date. And we're going to set it for later today, the 6th. First thing in the morning when I wake up, 5:30 in the morning. Schedule. Oh, geez, I forgot to add the track art. That's okay. We can go back in there and edit it. Go over here, go into the art. So out in our permascape last year or the year before, we planted these. And my wifey took a picture of them and sent them to me. So I cropped it and photoshopped it and made it look good to be used for track art. There we go. Now we can update that and save it. So now it's ready to just automatically drop first thing in the morning, and at which point I'll make my specializer and upload it. And everything here has been dealt with and is gorgeous. So now we can close and say no to all. And that just like gets rid of all my cache from Adobe Audition. So now I can reopen it and start fresh, a brand new session. Because now it is 06/2025. So I'm gonna hit Control Shift New and enter and hit Shift Space to get it starting to record. So now, whoa, is everything okay there? Yeah. So, let me go to this other screen here so I can hit Shift down. There we go. Now I need to take off my headset here, put that there, and I need to come around, make sure I don't trip over my waters. I have lots of water bottles all around me. And then that way I can always drink water no matter what, because I always have water wherever I go. So, okay, so everything's good. So a lot of you can't really tell over here, but a while back, I had everything laid out. And it was maximalized. Like I actually had like all my crystals, all my rocks, all my totems, all my everything. The piano was covered completely with as much stuff as I can when I tuned it to 432 back on June 17th. And then I did some chasing growlies when the weather permitted. And then all of a sudden we saw that Minnesota's going to have this heat wave and like, you know, off and on storms and all that stuff. So I said, you know what, I've done enough. I don't want to overstress the piano with that down pitch that I did over this past few months. So I just closed it and I finished charging everything. They charged for more than a week at 432 hertz. So all of my rocks, all of my crystals, they've been reprogrammed during this past cycle from June 17th. And now they're all spread around the house in their own little clusters doing their magic to like help the vibe in every single room in the house. And then anytime I feel one that's depleted and needs a little more energy, I can, you know, pick it up, take it to the piano at the back where I actually have I call it my cleansing station with selenite and like bells and singing bowls, and I've got my copper flutes and, you know, the tongue drum and different shakers and incense and smudges. I have a friend, like I work in plants and biology, you know, so by day I'm doing biologicals. I'm the keeper of the isolates, and then I help them with like just random tasks. Like there's so many scientists working with different crops, and they need to be able to see and show and study plant pathogens, you know, just like how there's viruses and, you know, diseases for humans, there's that for every single crop. And where I live and the lab that I am contracted to as a lab technician, Um, they just started this new biological lab, and they've been building it for the past like year or so. And the 4 years before that, I worked for a renowned plant biologist, pathologist, mycologist, and there was a whole team of them. And they've been there for like years, like over 30 years, like just world-renowned scientists. And for every crop that they deal with, they need data, and they need to understand, like, what this pathogen is they're dealing with, so they can start doing their studies and try and grow good crops. So we're stage 1 discovery. It's like phase 1. So it's like, and this is like years ago, like not last year, but the year before, a couple years back. And it was for 4 years I worked for this scientist, Rita. And she taught me everything she knew for what she was doing to grab isolates, maintain them, clean them up the old school way, like they did way back in the day, because it's hard to explain what's going on in the microverse in all the different fields and different crops. So they have to bring us samples. So they'll go to a field and like bring us some plant that's got root rot, got blights, got sudden death syndrome, all kinds of things. And every single crop has its own battle to fight. So you can't use the same thing for every single crop. You can use the same thing for similar things, but not every single crop. And I mean, like everything. We're just one tiny lab in the middle of nowhere, Minnesota. And so we'll like, I'll be there and I'll like clean the root, like I'll clean it up with 10% bleach, so that way it's free from all the dirt and like all the stuff that could be. So that way we just have the plant. And then from there, after we rinse it off and it's super clean, then we like, cut it in, and we're working in like as sterile environment as we can for plants. So we're always like sterilizing everything we work with, working in a sterile hood, wearing lab coats, wearing like, masks so we don't breathe on it and like, compromise our plates. You're in like this hood with like a fan thing so the spores don't escape, and you're just like, working with like, these little samples of roots and leaf matter and, like stems and stuff like that. And you just like cut them into tiny little discs and you put them on different petri dishes with different media to feed it. And then like all the fungus starts to grow, and like that's what's inside the plant, because we've watched everything externally. And then once you have that, you like, okay, so there's this, this, and this. These look different. These look similar. And my boss would show me under the microscope, and like she would make little doodles, like this looks like this looks like this, and we're looking for this. And so you find it on the plate, and you have to like use like sometimes a magnifying glass into the light, and you're looking at the plate, and you're just seeing the little hyphae grow. And like on the outer ring, you just want to cut with a sterile blade, like. So you're like on this little petri dish, and on the backside you got like this little pen, and you're just like, there's that little spot of the hyphae growth, and you can cut that off and then put it onto another plate, and then you have to fast it and like, don't feed it anything. So like if you're working on something that feeds on like potato, corn, soy, let's say, that area, so you'll feed it some potato agar, and then you'll just give it water, just water. And it'll get thin and thin out, and then you can start seeing the growth a little bit more, but you really have to look closely because it's really thin. And then you find all these clean isolates, and then once you can isolate a single spore, you let it proliferate, and it gets to the spore stage, and you can take really clean water, and you flood the plate, and you start like scraping it, and then all the spores are in the water. That's called a spore suspension. And you put it into like a petri dish, and you start streaking the petri dish, and then you only have like a day, and then it starts growing, and then that way you can watch it and look under the microscope, and you have like this plate that's got like grids, and you just sit there with the microscope looking, and you're just like, oh, there's that one that we want, and you'll find it, and you'll cut it out and put it on a brand new sterile plate and just grow a fungus from a single spore. And sometimes there's ones that you have to like get a little hair, and you catch the little spore and you move it to the plate, and then it grows. And as long as it's clean, then from there you have a pure isolate that you can let it grow, and you can like feed it to millet or silica gel, or feed it to oats, or feed it to broken up corn, or just some sort of media that you can like let it proliferate onto. And if you have a good clean isolate proliferated onto that, you can refrigerate it, freeze it, and put it into the ultra low, and you have it backed up like 3 or 4 different ways. So that way, if a scientist, somewhere out in the West Coast is like, hey, do you have a sample of that one isolate that causes root rot that came from like this area? And I'm like, yep, it's in this one in this vial, and I can bring it back to life. And and then if they have their permits in order, we send them the isolate, and then that scientist can do what they need to do with it. And but before you can do that, like as you do that, you have to put it through sequencing and identify it, and then you have to run it through tests and compare all the different ones that you've grabbed and see which one's pathogenic, which one's non-pathogenic, and you want to keep the pathogenic ones because that's what the scientists need to study everything that they're doing. Whew! And now we're opening this new lab, and they want me to help them. They want me to help them put it all together. Oh my gosh, it's like a huge weight. I'm telling them I need this, I need this, I need that, so I can do this and this and that. So, and we're getting ready to start, so that way we can start identifying these new isolates that are showing up and deal with them using biologicals.
Shady apples from my family tree. So when the autumn comes to take the leaves, we'll write history books from memories share and we'd forget. Well, I don't remember 2012, but I heard the world would turn to hell. And compared to that, well, I'm doing well. So I pray to God, it really did. Well, they always ask you not to leave, and I am, as they'll remember me. So when all my friends forget my name, no, I won't come back and be the same. No, I won't come back and be the same. And I'm gonna be myself again.
Bye.